Hello, investors and traders, and welcome to the weekly market report. I'm AJ Monte, and this is a daily candle chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, ticker symbol DIA. And after a 900-point downturn yesterday, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. While I'm recording this here on this Thursday, June 11th, the Dow is up about 200 points. And if you look at this little bitty candle here, that's very close to an inverted hammer, and we are seeing a drop in volume with a long stretch of red candles, so we're long overdue for a green. Now, if you remember from last week's report, I did put an upside target on DIA, but I said I really can't go too high, and I was even hesitating whether or not to even put an upside target. But I mentioned this yesterday on the midweek report. You could see the red line here, as I magnify that, that's actually buried within the candle from last Friday's report. And I did put an upside target on DIA right there at 517.72. Interestingly enough, the high for that day was 517.75. So it surpassed it by 3 cents and then wound up closing with this massive bearish engulfing candle. So upside target did hit. We did also fill this gap down here. So we're waiting for a little bit of a reversal. That's usually what you see after a gap fill. So with SpaceX being launched tomorrow in its IPO, I think it could give a little bit of a lift to the rest of the market as the hype continues to build, especially on the institutional side of the market. So I'm going to put just a slight upside target here, maybe up towards the highs from yesterday. So my target on DIA, just for the record there, is 506.52. So you option traders out there, if you're looking to take a long position, I'll tell you, I'd be very, very quick to take profits. As I mentioned in midweek report yesterday, and you could go to the link in the description box if you want to review that half-hour session between Nod and I talking about SpaceX and these targets hitting. I would say that, we have an overall long position still, but we're slowly moving out of our positive delta and adding more negative delta on the option spreads. So that's just our plan, because if you get a rally here and a pivot lower from here, you would have an A at the top. Remember, I talk about ABCD patterns all the time. Now, we don't have a B yet. You see, we have, from Friday, we had a lower high, lower low. Then on Tuesday, we had a lower high, lower low. Yesterday, lower high, lower low. Today's a half signal. That's not a pivot. So if we come in tomorrow with a higher low, higher high, we could put a B there, and then any pivot lower from C will most likely result in a lower D in that ABCD pattern. Remember, I show that pattern all the time. It's very common, not just in the general markets with regard to the ETFs, but in individual stocks. And we look for those ABCD patterns many times as a role reversal pattern that we trade off of. So that's DIA. Looking at IWM, I am going to keep that downside target right there. This is not looking as positive as the diamonds. We have a downward channel going here. See this? Lower highs, lower lows. So we're keeping that downside target on IWM. That may not be more or less participating in the excitement of the SpaceX IPO. Small caps, I think, are taking a little bit of a break here. So I'm going to keep that downside target right there at 275.86. We had a two-part forecast on here. Blew through the upside target, came close right here on Tuesday with that low, but then bounced. So I still think that downside target at 275.86 is in our sights. Now, looking at QQQ, this is where we're going to get a lot of excitement. I think we're going to go higher here. Again, came very close to hitting this downside target. Eventually, I think we will. But as of this recording, we have a bullish harami right there. So I think we could rally right up to that moving average. So I'm going to get rid of those couple of pennies there and put an upside target of 713. So we have 13 points on the upside with the Qs, and then we're going to have to see what the fallout is with this IPO. They bent the rules and changed them so that investors don't have to wait as long as they usually do with IPOs in the lockup period. They're allowing investors to sell much sooner than they normally do. And again, we're going to have to see what kind of pressure that puts on the market. I think they're changing the rules to try to keep it from crashing after, we saw Meta and many other IPOs in the past that came out and got smashed, like Robinhood, which dropped 90% initially after their IPO. And I think they're changing the rules to keep the collapse from occurring. They're allowing gradual selling and not massive selling. So in other words, you could only sell smaller percentages of your portfolio if you have the stock before the IPO. So it's going to be very interesting. No doubt there's going to be a record level of money raised in the billions, and we'll see what the market cap, if it's 1.5 trillion or 2 trillion, we'll have to see what the valuation comes in at tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting. And then, of course, the news over the weekend is going to be all about the IPO. So now, looking at SPY, I think we're going to see a little bit of a rally. Again, came very close to hitting that downside target here, but we got the hammer and we've got a bullish harami right here. So my upside target is 739.77. The reason I'm dropping it there is because that moving average is still going to be bending over like this. So my target is more or less intersecting with where the 20-period moving average is going to be acting as resistance. So that's for SPY, again, 739.77. Now looking at the VIX, what do we got? Well, this is backing up and even supporting what I'm saying with a higher SPY. That's a shooting star with a bearish harami. So again, we came very close to hitting that upside target of 24.34 right here on Tuesday. And now I think we're going to go down just a little bit towards that moving average on the VIX of 1942. You can see down below we're very close to a sell signal on the CCI, my favorite indicator down there. And so we'll have to then see after we hit the 1942 downside target whether or not that moving average is going to be curving up and acting as a support level. Again, that VIX is a leading indicator in my book. It gives us a lead on what the emotional level or charge is in the general markets. Now, I'm going to show you something very interesting. We talked about this yesterday, but I want to show everyone who may have missed that midweek report what this is all about. If you look at the S&P, this is a monthly chart of the SPX as of this month. If I take this monthly chart of the S&P and I overlay the chart of the S&P the way it looked in 1996 all the way up to 1999, this is uncanny how similar this is right here. Look at this. I mean, you've got even the downturn here. Look at this. This is almost identical to what we saw in 1999. And even these candles right here, look, see these candles right here? These are the last 2 months right here. That's the last 2 months right there. And that's almost identical, even the length of the candle. It's unbelievable how similar that footprint is. Even the sell-off back here was identical. And what that means is, if history is repeating itself, even the angle of these up legs are almost identical. I've never seen anything like this before, how history is repeating itself almost exactly. But if this is what's about to happen in the coming months, we still have a lot of upside resistance up here that will be tested. You see this? So we have, I think, about 6 more months of just going in a sideways pattern, which is really great for option traders. And that's how I'm playing the silver market, by the way. I want to mention this because some people on our webinar last night said, oh, I missed what you said about PSLV. Well, I didn't report that on any webinars, and I've been telling people for months now, if you want to keep track of what I'm doing in silver, go to my X page and I'll show you. And all you have to do is put in hashtag AJ trades, and you'll see everything that I'm doing right there in public. So last Friday, I sold out of my PSLV position entirely. And the reason for that is because we had this big gap down, and then we had the massive volume right there. So what I did is I took the money that was generated from the sale of my PSLV position. This is the first time I've been out of silver or PSLV 100%. And what I'm doing now is more or less trading the wheel strategy on SLV. And so, PSLV does not have options. So what I'm doing is I'm selling calls against my long stock position. And let me just give you an example of how this works. If you want to learn how to trade the wheel, come on over to StickyTrades. You can just scan this code right here and you'll get a 15-day trial, and you don't have to worry about that. You could listen to all my recordings. You could ask me questions. You could do all that good stuff on the webinars. But if you bought SLV right now for $59.64, you could put that stock up for sale at 60. Now, it doesn't sound like much, right? You're buying it at $59.65 or $59.70. You're selling it at 60. So you're only going to make, 30 cents, maybe 40 cents if it goes up from here. Because when you sell a call, you're obligating yourself to sell the stock at the strike price. And I'm okay with that. Because if they're paying me, look at that, they're paying me $3.50 to sell it 40 cents higher. So if it goes higher, I make my $3.50. And what am I going to do? I'll buy the stock back again and sell another call. Or I could sell an out of the money put. Look at all this premium you can collect. So if you've never done cash secured puts or covered calls or anything like that, you're really missing out on a lot of premium, because the silver markets and even the mining companies are offering this premium as option traders get more active in those markets. And if you do it right, you're basically collecting cash on the money that you are pledging towards the purchase of the stock. And you can only do that in stocks that have options, obviously. That's why I moved out of PSLV, because while I think the market here could more or less channel sideways, every month I'm collecting premium, every single month. Once the premium expires, I go out another month and sell that premium. Once that expires, I go sell another one. So after 3 months of that, you're collecting almost $10 of premium on your cash. And so now you're actually lowering your cost basis of the long stock position every time you take in that cash. So I just want to throw that out there for you, because this is, in my opinion, this is free money if you're willing to take on the stock on the long side of your portfolio. So that is it for now. You have a good rest of the day. Hopefully you like this coming out earlier on Thursday, and then you have all day Friday to trade. And then we have the weekend, of course. So you have a good rest of the week and a good weekend to follow, and talk to you next week. So long.
In a world of endless data, where every second counts, introducing Nodlife, your professional compass in the chaos of the stock market. Nodlife cuts through the noise. Stay ahead with Nodlife.